on a very popular target for people like Andrew Tate, and it is the Jews.
Here we go. 10 seconds in, and they have been called, they have been summoned, the Jays, to conversation that you might know if you've been on the internet that has blown up to levels that we actually did predict come. We talked about Myron Gaines predicting it. This will be David Pakman. I haven't done a David Pakman reaction in a while. I'm actually a fan. I was a fan, then I started not liking him. And then now I kind of, even though we don't agree, I respect him. Let's look at how he reacts to this topic that ain't going away. If you like it or you don't like it, if you are in politics, this is not going away. Andrew Tate, David Pakman, we're on with the Jays, the Tiny Hats, Ben Shapiro's people. Let's hear where this conversation goes.
Andrew Tate was given permission to leave Romania and come to the United States. We've since learned that now the state of Florida has opened up an investigation into Tate. He's been doing some of the media rounds, and one of the places he appeared was the Nelk Boys. And in this interview, he came very innovative, right? He says, it is the Jews that you cannot speak badly about. You can't speak out against the Jews. And by the way, why would you be speaking out against the Jews as a group? It's sort of
because I want to. That's why.
Like if I said, why aren't we allowed to really speak out against the blacks? You would
I do it all the time. You're what? Please do.
Say, do you feel the need to speak out against the blacks?
Yes, I do actually. Yeah. That's something I do very often. They're political enemies of mine.
It's very weird. Remember that this is one of the.
It's funny because you can do that with other groups, right? You can do it with Christians. You don't have a problem with that. I've never heard them talking about. Oh no, don't talk about the Christians altogether. That's not a problem. I'm sure that's not a problem for many of you. There's something different with the Jays, isn't there? There's something weird about it. They're not special ed children that we have to coddle and kind of be nice to not disturb. I don't care if you like it or not. That's free speech. You can talk about whatever group you want. You might say, well, why would you crash out against the skin complexion of Wesley Snipes people? Isn't your skin complexion the complexion of Wesley Snipes? Well, here's the problem. You, not me, you leftists, not you on the right, but you leftists, far right, many on the right, believe that the color of the skin is a social construct. That's not my take. That's your take. If you believe in realism, then that's a whole different thing. I'll tell you my lineage and everything. But if you believe that it's a social construct, then that means I can opt out. You are whatever you want to call it. If you want to call it the color black or negro or whatever you want to call it, you can call yourself that. And I will leave that culture, that group, and I'll say I'm the Wesley Snipes skin color or whatever else. I'm not denying my skin color, but I'm not in your group. Let's talk about the Jays, though, and the Tiny Hats.
The most popular sort of manosphere influencers right now. If you're not familiar with them, brace yourselves. This is ugly stuff.
I think it's going to all shift with Trump, like allies and geopolitics.
America is a...
Like, are they pushing Russia and the U.S. like closer together now?
There you go. Now you have strong nationalistic patriarchies. You have strong nationalistic patriarchies, which is the USA and Russia. We have a lot more in common than we do with these femme-centric, matriarchal, garbage, woke shitholes in Europe. This is the truth. We have more in common with Russia than we do with England currently. The average Russian man will understand the average American man just fine. You won't understand the average Brit who thinks it's wrong to tweet about the native people getting raped and murdered because there's unchecked migration.
I wish that were true. You could say the success of Donald Trump would make that true, but you look at Nancy Mace, for example. She doesn't fit. We have women all over the place in Congress, and they're doing dancing videos and all kinds of madness. Remember, Putin had that speech, and he came out against what he sees in the West, and that's us. So I wish what Tate was saying is true. It's true for me. I don't know if it's true for America anymore.
By the way, this is a total fantasy. I just spent weeks in the UK. This is completely fabricated nonsense.
The average Brit will sit there and go, "That's racist," and just
Well, I
sit
guess
there.
you can't do too.
Well, I'm in the U.S., and what you talk about the U.S., I think is nonsense. So I don't know if I believe you, David. David Pakman, let's get back to it. You tell me. This is one we need comments on. Where are you at with this? Is it legit? Is it not? You better come correct in the comment section, or I'm not having it. You might already know that if you've been in there.
Too much free speech against Putin as well in Russia, probably, right?
Oh, of course you can.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
You can?
No, you can't.
Can't, yeah.
No,
You're
you can't. But this is actually interesting. So let's analyze this.
I love the concept of doing free speech. One of the things that is often a sign that there is a movement that doesn't know what the hell it's talking about is when they use language in a way that doesn't make any sense. Like when Trump talks about reclaiming our free speech, and sensible people go, reclaiming it? When was it lost? Who took it away? And who are we reclaiming it from? That's a sign that this doesn't make any sense. And when this guy from the Nelk Boy,
What movement is David Pakman in? And I can answer those things, but it's against Donald Trump, actually. It's against Elon Musk and Donald Trump. So he's right, and I don't know what Donald Trump's talking about because he brought on Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is a part of the problem for free speech to me, not the solution. X is worse than Twitter was. I'm not going to digress, but what movement is Pakman in? Those are fair questions, but I want to answer. I want you to answer to me. Are you in a movement? What is your movement about?
says you can't do too much free speech. Sometimes grammar and syntax can be pedantic, but sometimes they can expose that people don't even know what they're talking about.
Free speech. This is an interesting conversation because America believes that's free speech. It doesn't. But every single country in the world has things you cannot talk about. Every single country in the world has off-limit topics.
Mm-hmm.
In Russia, it's Putin. In the Middle East, it's Islam. In Turkey, it's Erdogan. If you talk against them, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. Do you know what the American one is?
What, speaking out against the Dems?
Speaking out against the Jews. If you speak out against the Jews in America, you're going to get in a lot of trouble.
He's like,
So-
oh,
I love that.
I like how innocent and naive he is, like the Dems. And Tate doesn't laugh at all. He's like, he knows I'm dealing with a noob, which is fine. That's what he wanted to do to reach people. No, it's the Jays.
Nelk guy nodding.
Every single country has their off-limit topics. So there's no such thing as free speech anywhere.
You know, one of the funny things about this is you can come up with your list of untouchable topics, but when you compare and contrast authoritarian nations with at least nominally democratic societies, it's not really meaningful or valuable. The reason you can't speak out against Erdogan in Turkey is different than there's backlash when you say anti-Semitic things.
This is, I thought that your side, tell me if you're a Pac-Man person on this side, whatever side this is. I thought Trump was supposed to be a Yahtzee. I thought he was supposed to be a fascist. Then all of a sudden we have so many rights now. I don't understand where you guys are.
And in a sense, what they mean, you know, what happens to you in Russia if you speak out against Putin is one type of consequence, which is an authoritarian dictatorial consequence. Similarly, you could say, you know, when I say anti-Semitic stuff in the United States, it damages my brand. When I say
No, it's not. That's not the take. I'll end on this. When you look at it, I haven't said the names on this channel because I don't know what happens. See, people like Pac-Man and maybe many of you think that just because I'm behind a mic and I can say it means that the speech is free. Well, how do I know that there isn't another government secret organization filtering through that we know Google works with that filters through and says, oh, you know, this topic, you can say it, but we're going to make sure nobody hears it. That's the freedom of speech, but not reach that Linda Yaccarino, Elon Musk, they preach. That's not freedom of speech, guys. David Pakman, that's not freedom of speech. And then people will say, well, it's a private platform. It's a private platform that contracts with the government. I thought you had a problem with Elon Musk teaming up with Donald Trump. So you have a problem with Elon Musk teaming up with Donald Trump. That's you. But then now you don't think that the platform that he owns on, because he's connected directly to the government, you don't think we should have protected rights on the platform? Sir, you don't have any intellectual high ground on me, and you don't have any moral high ground on me.
The next clip is ready below. Welcome to After Show Carnage.